Today, I'm going to be showing you 5 tips that high elo players use to win more games. Make sure you watch till the end of the video because I guarantee you that after you apply these techniques, you will instantly start gaining more RS. Alright, so let's start off with a few basic movement techniques, and as this video goes on, we'll be getting into more complicated tips. First off, we have window climbing. So everyone knows the basic window climb like this, but what I don't see is that when they see something like this, they realize that they can't climb onto this. But what you can do is you could just punch it, and it just disappears and you could just climb on. So whenever you see something like this, you could just punch it and climb. Next, we have stair climbing. So basically how you stair climb is that you want to climb on this railing and then climb again. All you're doing is climbing through the middle of the railing and turning your camera. So all it is just climbing, turn camera, climb, turn camera, climb, climb. Hold W and just spam jump and just climb. Next, we have edge sliding. Next, I'm going to talk about edge sliding. So basically, normally, if you see a ledge like this, you would just jump down normally, and then you would just go like that. So what you can actually do is that you can actually edge slide, like on this edge, and you get a little bit more momentum. Okay, so another jump that's actually possible on Monaco is this window slide right here. So basically, you just run up to it, slide, and then you could just climb onto this window. But if you just time your slide properly, you could just slide, and you could just climb onto this window. So yeah, it takes a little bit of practice, but it's doable. Alright, so let's say you hit a normal door climb like so. What you can do is when they start walking through, you can shoot, hit a slide, and then shoot again. So look at that distance that I got from just one slide. That's what I'm saying, that edge sliding on doors is really effective as well. And next, we have climbing. So now I'm going to talk about climbing. So one way that you could use climbing to your advantage. So let's say I'm low. So, oh no, I'm low, right? So yeah, so he chases me and then I can just climb onto this door and basically it will usually throw them off most of the time and they won't see you. So yeah, that's one of the things I do. Also, if you didn't know, you can actually get to the top of the church building many different ways. And one of the most common ways is like this. So you could basically climb everywhere on this church, wherever you see a ledge. And it's just really simple to get to the top up here. Alright, so another tip I have for window climbing is whenever you see a railing, like a square railing like so, what you can actually do is you could still get on it and climb on the roof. So basically, you don't need to go up this attic area and go out the window. You can actually just climb onto one of these and go onto the roof like so. It's really good for flanking and I use it a lot on this map. Alright, so another way you could use climbing to your advantage is, let's say like I'm in a fight, right? And I get low, right? So I can just place the skoo down and then basically I could just play around the skoo. So let's say he's trying to chase me, right? He's trying to see me, right? I could just slide off the goo and escape easily. So that's another way that climbing can help. I want to talk about how to strafe properly in the finals. You see, in other games, strafing is done very differently compared to the finals. That's because the finals has very different movement compared to other games. So here's what I mean. Okay, so normally you would be strafing like this. So shoot me. So that's what you don't want to do. Instead, let's say I'm reloading, right? You just want to move left to right like this. And notice how it's much harder to shoot me instead of just moving left to right like this. So notice how it's harder for you to hit me. So that's one of the main ways you can take less damage while in a 1v1. Speaking of strafing, here's another way I use movement in my fights. This is called a sprint slide. Okay, so what I basically mean is that you could be invis and you don't have to move to hit a slide. So you could be standing like this and be crouching and you could just uncrouch and hit a slide like that. You could be standing still, stand up, and then boom, instantly. So uncrouch and boom, stun. Boom. I use this a lot in fights just for that extra boost of movement which throws people off slightly while in a fight, like so. Now here's a mistake that I always see bad players make, and it's that you guys don't know how to position at all. One of the biggest position mistakes that I see is that you guys don't know how to peek angles. Let me explain. Alright, so one of the big mistakes I see players make is that they're in the open too much. So let's say I'm shooting someone. Notice how I take way more damage like that. If I play this angle like this, it's much easier to take less damage, and I'm able to put output damage without taking as much damage. So you never want to be wide swinging like this. You always want to be playing close. So of course this will take some time to get used to, because the positioning in the finals is one of the hardest things to learn, but is one of the main factors that will increase your rank the better you understand it. Speaking of positioning, this next part only applies to light players, but even if you don't play light, I still highly recommend you listen to this part. I'm going to talk about the gateway. I can't stress how versatile, helpful, and overpowered the gateway has been for multiple seasons now. However, it's also one of the hardest gadgets to use in the game right now. So I will explain to you exactly every single way that gateway can be used. So the gateway is a gadget on light that basically is a portal. So how it works is that you have these 2 points that are in the form of these throwable cube looking things. So basically I could set a point here and a second point there to create a portal that anyone and any item can go through. The portal lasts for about 30 seconds or whenever your cooldown reaches halfway. And when you throw one cube, that cube stays there forever until you link it up with another gateway. However, the gateway shows a distance, and if that distance exceeds 70 meters, then it'll despawn, which will reset your gateway but without a cooldown. Let's say you are close to 70 meters, you are allowed to throw it, but you aren't allowed to move past 70 meters. So throwing it won't count distance, but moving it with it will. So now that you have a basic understanding of how it works, let's talk about the 7 different ways that you could use it. So let's say there's like a team on this building, and then you see this medium up here. So let's say I get this medium low, right? So I get this medium low and he's instantly running from me, right? So I can just chase him with the aggro gateway. I can just aggro gateway him. One of the uses of gateway is to pretty much do an aggro gateway to chase someone. So another example of an aggro gateway can be something like this. So let's say you get them low, right? I can just chase them, right? Get the stun and I get the free kill on this. So notice how you can just aggro people instantly with gateway and close space really fast. Okay, so another way to use gateway is basically if you place it directly above the cash out, what you can do is that if someone tries to steal, so let's say I'm fighting someone over here, right? Someone's fighting and then someone starts stealing, I can just drop this, teleport instantly onto them and just get the free kill. So that's another use of the gateway. So another use of it is basically to escape if someone's about to kill you. So let's say I'm fighting someone, right, and I'm super low, I could just pop the gateway and fully escape. And look, they don't even know where I am now. So it's just like a really good way to cut line of sight and to escape really fast. So another way you could use gateway is basically, let's say I start a cash out, I can make it harder to steal by putting like this gateway thing on it, right? So let's say someone tries to steal it. So yeah, go try to steal it. It's harder for them to steal pretty much. So yeah, that's just like another way of using gateway. It's not really a big thing, it's just another thing to think about. Alright, so another way to use gateway is, so basically, let's say I put it on this vault right here and I open this vault, right? And then I'm running. So what I can do is I can place a goo like so off the edge of the map, and then I can just place it on this, right? On that goo. So now when he takes that gateway, so if let's say someone tries chasing and taking the gateway, right, they fall off the map and I get the box and I get to get the put in. Teams are going to try to chase you with your gateway, but if you do something like this, you can make it like a one-way so they can't chase you. Okay, so another thing you can do on gateway is you can do something called a double gateway. So let's say your teammate also has gateway. So what you could do is that you can place a gateway on this first one, right? And then I'm going to go run over to my teammate, and then my teammate's going to place his gateway. So place your gateway, yeah. And then run to B. So basically, once this is done, I can pop my gateway on this gateway, and he has his double gateway to B. So basically, he can use his gateway to make a double gateway. And so I have this, right? And we get the instant plug instantly. So that's just another way to use gateway. Now that may feel like a lot, but trust me, the more you use it, the more it will start to become second nature over time. In other words, you may not know how to use it at first, but over time, you will start to understand how helpful it could be. Now, another mistake I see players make is that they use their defib too early. Now, here's what I mean by too early. Let's say your teammate gets quick dropped at the start of a fight. Instead of using your defib, you could easily just create space and get a manual res. Now what this does is that it allows you to save your defib for when you need to revive in the middle of a fight. You could save your defib for a better part in the fight. So let's say you start fighting again and then your teammate dies again. Now you can use your defib at a better part in the fight. So I can just get my defib and I could still fight the same fight. I could use my defib in the middle of a fight instead of before the fight starts. So next time you have to revive, try saving your defib for when you actually need it. So this next tip is only for players who actually want to get better at the game. And you guys are probably not going to like the answer, but the answer is aim training. Yeah, aim training is one of the most effective ways to get better at the game, and like I said, it's only for the players who actually want to improve at the game. And yes, it's boring, and yeah, it's hard, but it will help your aim a ton, I guarantee you. If you have any questions or you just want to help make these videos, then you can join the Discord in the comments. Anyway, that's all I have for today.